How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about ESPN. Now, I know we are on a political channel right now, and ESPN is related to sports, but I'll make it make sense in just a moment. As most of you know, ESPN for a long time had been incorporating politics with their coverage of sports. And I, for one, did not like it. I thought it was really getting in the way of me enjoying whatever I'm watching, the basketball, football, baseball game. I'm a big political junkie, 100%. But I don't like my politics and my sports just being intertwined like that. So Jimmy Pitaro, the new president of ESPN as of March 2018, says there will be no more or much less political content on ESPN. Finally. I mean, this has been a long time coming. They put out a statement saying that their audience overwhelmingly does not want political content to be on the channel. You don't say. I think the way I feel is the way most people feel. Now, don't get it twisted. You know, I'll watch every mainstream media outlet, underground outlet. I make my own political content. I read everything. I am a true political junkie, 1,000%. And I think a lot of you out there are as well. But I'm also a big-time sports fan. I'm enjoying the playoffs right now. Go Bucks, fear the deer, all that good stuff. But when I'm watching the Bucks game, when I'm watching New York Yankees, or I'm watching a Minnesota Vikings game, I don't want to see all this political stuff being thrown in there. It's like, what are we doing? Like, this ain't the time and place for that. I'm trying to enjoy myself, enjoy a nice game. I don't want to have the political stuff. Now, I think this has been kind of in the works over at ESPN for quite a long time. Remember Jemele Hill, the very infamous Jemele Hill, talking about Trump's the white supremacist, is that in the third? She was anchoring the 6 p.m. Sports Center, and she had a podcast over there with, I forget the guy's name, Michael something. But they had a podcast together, and she will always bring up political stuff constantly. She's basically SJW over there, but now she's not anymore. Let her tell it. It was an amicable split, but before she left ESPN and went over to the Atlantic to write for them and making guest appearances on CNN, talking about the same things she would say over at ESPN, all the anti-Trump rhetoric. Before that happened, she had been suspended by the big dog, Bob Iger, who is the CEO of Disney, okay? Because she said something about Trump being a white supremacist or something to that effect. I know she said that, but there may have been more as far as why she got suspended or other instances that led up to her suspension. But when the big dog comes in and say, okay, you're suspended, time out, that's going to be all over the media, all over the world. So you pretty much on borrowed time at that point. And I'm glad she is no longer there. I've not been able to resume my Sports Center watching because that is kind of what turned me off. It's like, why even watch this? I'd rather watch Fox Sports 1. And I still feel that way to this day. ESPN is making some inroads and trying to fix their culture. It's very corporate to the core. It's owned by Disney. Everything is run like a machine. It's not really organic. You feel like everything is scripted. When you're watching the sports show, where you're watching anybody on YouTube talk, you want to feel like it's organic, like it's natural. ESPN has lost a lot of that because everything is so, politically correct, and you're talking about certain things a certain way. You can't offend this group or that group or that group. It's so many little cliques in ESPN. Shout out to Jason Whitlock. He was over at ESPN, and they pretty much are trying to hamstring him. That's why he jumped ship and went to Fox Sports 1. Same thing with Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharp was on CBS. Now he's at Fox Sports 1. It's a much more laid-back environment, at least from what it appears to be on the outside. The show with Shannon and Skip is fantastic. The one with, what's my man's name? Colin Coward and Joy Taylor. That's a good one. Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley, Katino Mobley. That's a good show as well. It feels more organic, kind of like real barbershop talk, not like LeBron James's The Shop, where all they do on there is just talk about SJW issues, sip goblets of wine and curse. But I'm getting off track, so I digress. My point is that when you have all this corporate structure in there and you're trying to be politically correct and you're trying to appease this group, you're talking about within ESPN, you have an LGBT organization, a black organization, an Hispanic organization, an Asian organization, not a white organization, obviously. But again, I digress. when you have all those little groups in ESPN and everybody's got to be politically correct, it makes for a lukewarm product at best. So they're going in the right direction by trying to reduce dramatically the political content on their network, but it still got quite a way to go. I don't like the politically correct nature that kind of has infested ESPN. Some of the anchors should go. Keith Olbermann is a nut. I've not seen him on ESPN in a long time. He was there, left again, came back. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. He might be doing radio or something like that. I've not seen him call any games or do Sports Center. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. But he kind of went off the deep end. You know, he is an example, or at least was an example, of a person that is politics all the time and no other release, nothing else. The kind of guy that will be in the basement with the red strings going from place to place. You know what I'm talking about. That kind of person was Keith Olbermann for a minute, at least when he was gone from ESPN. So hopefully now that he's back on ESPN, he's not going to be doing so much of that. But at a certain point, if that's your character, if that's your nature, that's going to be seen on camera, whether you want to or not, whether you realize it or not. So shout out to them for making some kind of stride in improving their content, and shout out to them for listening to their audience. We don't want politics and sports to be combined. I'm a big fan of Fox Sports 1, and the main reason is because they talk about sports specifically and not so much about the other stuff. Not even on social media. Shannon Sharp would say little things, but he wouldn't be one-sided. You see what I'm saying? And I appreciate that when you're talking about sports commentators, sports anchors, sports, whatever you want to call them. That's what I want. I don't want all my political content that I would see most of the day in my downtime when I'm watching a basketball game. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think Jimmy Pitaro, the new or recent president of ESPN, is making the right decision to dramatically cut down on the political content on the network? If that's your opinion, please let me know why in the comments below. If you disagree with that, let me know why in the comments below. Why is it not a good thing to leave politics out of sports? Some would say, oh, well, what better time to do it? Like Colin Kaepernick. People want to support him kneeling on the football field. It's like, look, you talk about your rights and your ability to protest, all this, that, and the third, but I don't want to hear that right now. I'm just trying to watch the game. Some would say, oh, the national anthem is political. How is it political? I mean, we're in America. It's our national anthem. That's something that unifies all of us. See, the political stuff is inherently divisive because you're going to have some that agree, some that don't agree. It is what it is, but the national anthem should be a thing that we all gather around as Americans. I don't understand why that should be a political thing, okay? Everybody got up in their elementary school class, middle school class, high school, or whatever, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and it was something that was normal. It's not a political thing. It's not like saying, oh, I hate Trump because he wants to keep the brown people out. That ain't the same thing as, reciting the national anthem or just hold your hand over your heart when it's being said, when it's being sung. I don't get it. But am I wrong? Is the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, are these things political? And is it hypocritical of me to say I don't want politics, but I'm okay with that? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.